All right, so we've got these pieces, these fragments of a story, right? Like someone took a really dark puzzle and just kind of threw it at us.
Yes, like that.
And right at the center, it's that classic setup, the detective on the hunt for a serial killer, the whole bit.
Classic.
But from the get-go, you get the feeling this isn't going to be your average by-the-book chase.
Right off the bat. What we have, these excerpts, they don't waste any time getting complicated. It's not just about who did it. It's about
Exactly.
why, the layers underneath.
And that's what we're going to try to do here with what you've brought. Really get into those layers, the ideas about justice, right, what's wrong, this sense of revenge that's just like simmering under everything. We need to understand how the detective in this story, how his view of it all, how that changes as he digs deeper.
It's a great way to look at how we understand things, how they can change so much as we learn more. Completely flipped.
And it all starts with these details, stark details. The victims, at first, well, I guess you could call them the underbelly of society. The drug dealers, the pimps, the ones who live outside the law.
Right?
And the killer leaves this calling card, or playing cards, ace to king. And it triggers something, It feels like some kind of twisted order is being restored. Like,
Yeah.
finally, someone's taking care of the problems the system just ignores.
It is compelling. I mean, it's disturbing, right? But that idea, this vigilante stepping in where traditional justice, where it just doesn't reach, it taps into something primal. This need for things to be made right no matter how it happens.
But then things shift. The targets, they change. Now it's a politician, disgraced, a CEO caught up in some shady money stuff. These aren't your small-time crooks anymore. These are people with power, even if they weren't, committing the same kind of violence as the first victims. This is where that simple vigilante idea, it kind of falls apart, doesn't it?
For sure. Everything expands. It's not just about cleaning up the streets, literally. It's about someone else, people who work within the system but cause harm in a different way.
And it's almost scarier how the public reacts. Even with these new targets, there's this cheering almost. These figures, they get called fallen angels. It's like people are so tired of the system not working that any kind of payback against the powerful, it's seen as a good thing. Doesn't matter how messy it gets.
Deep frustration, right? This feeling that the normal ways of justice, they aren't working for everyone. So some people, they'll embrace these actions, even if they're messed up, just to see something done.
And the detective, Harper, he's picking up on this too. He realizes this isn't just someone cleaning house. There's something else going on, some bigger plan. So he starts digging into the connections, tracing what's called this kill order in the text. Makes you wonder, who's really in charge here?
Exactly. Like when they say kill order, that implies organization, right? Not just one person acting alone. There's a network, a plan, someone or some group picking these people for a reason.
And he finds things, digging into their past. A widow left with nothing, a kid who's an orphan, living on the streets, whole families wiped out by corporate greed. That's where this puppet master idea starts forming in his head, the idea that there are people out there hurt by these victims, pulling the strings of this whole bloody thing.
And that introduces a really tricky moral question. Like, if these puppet masters, if they've suffered real injustice, does that excuse what they're doing? It makes you think about justice as this really personal thing, driven by pain.
Then things get really wild. Harper himself, he becomes a target. That Queen of Hearts card right there on his desk, you can practically feel how cold that moment must have been.
Oh, yeah.
He's not just the investigator anymore. He's a potential victim. Either he got too close, or maybe he's being judged by the same messed up rules as those criminals.
And those cards, they were just a calling card before, a way to announce the killings. But now it's a direct threat, personal. It flips everything, puts Harper right in the middle of it all. And that text, the countdown, it's all about making him afraid, messing with his head.
It's a trap, obviously, but he follows the lead to this abandoned church, this place that just feels, heavy. And there she is, kneeling. It seems peaceful at first, but then you see her back, all these scars.
Wow.
And it triggers a memory for him, an assault case never solved. He couldn't crack it. The system failed her.
That setting, the church, it's so loaded. A place meant for, like, peace and justice, but now it's the backdrop for something really dark. And those scars, they're a reminder of what happens when justice doesn't happen. The real cost.
And it all starts clicking into place. She doesn't deny anything. She actually points him towards this altar she's made. Photos, news clippings, focused on one man, rich, powerful, in a fancy suit. The untouchable bastard, she calls him. Turns out he was the one who attacked her back then. He's the real target. The one she wants Harper to see is behind it all.
So that's the connection, the thread. These killings, they're not random. They're tied together by this shared abuse, this need for revenge against someone who got away with it.
Harper asks about the spectacle, the cards. Why target other criminals? Her answer is chilling, just straight up. To make noise, to make them afraid. It's not just revenge, it's a statement. Exposing the system as broken in her eyes, and she's totally disillusioned. He walks free. They all do. Someone had to make them bleed. It's raw, you can feel the pain, the anger in the word.
Powerful words. They make you ask, what happens when people lose all faith in the institutions that are supposed to protect them? Does violence just fill that gap? Is that inevitable?
Harper tries. He tells her, we stop him the right way, but she just shuts it down. You tried that. I tried that. She's convinced the normal ways are useless against someone like him. It's a complete rejection of how things are.
That back and forth. It's the core of the story, isn't it? The tension between a legal system, flawed as it is, and the temptation to take justice into your own hands, even though it's dangerous.
And then boom, everything changes. Harper, focused on her, he doesn't see it coming. A prick, then paralysis. He's totally helpless. She takes his gun. It's a total power shift. She's not a victim anymore, not in that moment. She's in control.
Wow. Talk about taking charge. She goes from being hurt by the system to controlling it, bending it to her will.
And as she takes his gun, she says it, her first kill was messy but really learned. So this isn't the first time, right? And it hints at more a network, maybe even some kind of training. Then that line, that's why he picked me. We all did the broken ones they left behind. It's confirmation. This whole puppet master thing. It's a group, people tied together by their trauma, their need for revenge.
The broken ones they left behind. Man, that phrase hits hard. It's like this community formed out of shared suffering because the system failed them.
And the climax, it's fast, brutal. The suited man arrives. She takes him out, one shot. King of Diamonds, her last card. Her final words to Harper, they're chillin'. We're not angels, detective. Not anymore. But someone has to fight the devils. It's the opposite of that righteous vigilante from the start.
It makes you ask, what happens when you can't tell the victim from the criminal anymore? They're all mixed up. It really challenges how you define justice.
By the time backup arrives, she's gone. And Harper's report, it says a lot in just a few words. Serial killer neutralized. Accomplice escaped. Case closed for now. That for now, it just hangs there. He doesn't believe it's over. But more than that, you can feel how deeply it's affected him, what he's seen, how the system led to this, and her logic, twisted as it is, but you understand it. This idea that he's already chosen a side in this war zone, it suggests a huge shift in his own sense of right and wrong.
His report, it's like a normal closure, but it's not. You can hear his struggle in it. He's had to face what happens when people feel there is no justice, and the power of taking it into your own hands, even though it's wrong.
So looking at all these pieces you've brought, it's a lot to process. This idea of vigilante justice, becoming something planned, driven by revenge. What happens when the justice system, the one that's supposed to protect people and hold the powerful accountable when people feel it doesn't work?
Absolutely. It shows what can happen when faith in those institutions, it just crumbles. The impact of power that goes unchecked, the trauma that's never dealt with, both on individuals and on everyone.
And it brings up a tough question. If the traditional ways of getting justice, if they fail, what's the real price of taking it on yourself? Does it ever really end well, or does it just lead to more darkness, this cycle of violence that consumes everyone involved?
It's a question that's been asked throughout history. There's no easy answer. This story, it throws it all right in your face. How messy justice can be, the dangers of going outside the system, even when you feel you have no other choice.
This whole deep dive, it leaves you with a lot to think about. It makes you wonder, how do these themes play out in the real world? Maybe in things you see in the news or even in your own life. And we encourage you to keep thinking about it, these different sides of justice and morality, how they show up everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. It sticks with you.